Welcome to the Flooring Podcast with Mike Harris, the show where we cover new construction, restoration, and everything to do with flooring in commercial construction. Now here's your host, Mike Harris.
Welcome to the Flooring Podcast, and I'm Mike Harris. We're here today as usual at Pod 617 Studios in Westwood, Mass. Thanks to David Yaz, our producer, for all the things he does for us. If you want your own podcast, visit pod617.com. Today on the podcast, I'm very happy to have John Gabaree, a good friend and flooring expert. John?
Oh, Mike.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
John, your name has been bounced around quite a bit lately in the industry. You're a popular guy. We hear you just went to work for Jantile. What's the finish there?
Flooring systems.
Flooring system. We're going to get to that in a second, okay? But because that's, I think, what the people want to hear about today.
Sure.
But let's talk a little bit about you.
Sure.
You've been around this industry now for, I think, over 20 years.
Correct.
In the epoxy and polished concrete and urethane cements industry. Mm-hmm. Why don't you chat about where you started in this industry and how you got involved here?
Yeah, sure. So journey kind of began right after college. Went to Wentworth, studied initially architecture, and then realized that drawing all day long probably wasn't in my forte.
Wentworth is a big school for the people in our industry and in all of construction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Probably the top in the region by far, and sometimes in the state. So when I graduated from there, my first co-op job I worked with Lee Kennedy and a small architect firm in Watertown, and kind of realized the construction management side was more where I wanted to go. Mm. And once I figured out that path, then I ended up looking for a job when I graduated. And my first thing I found was a little place in Gloucester called Industrial Abrasive Blasting with Gil Guerin.
We always used to refer to them as IAB, I'm a blast.
Exactly, and it was. So I worked with Gil for 7 years, and it was great. Pretty much didn't know much about the industry when I came into it. At that time, he did sandblasting, epoxy flooring. Really had no interest in the polished concrete.
Right.
And I actually went down to Atlanta, got certified with Schofield, brought the polished concrete to their business, and over the years progressed into more responsibility, and it was great. Gil was great, learned a lot, was great. A lot of the guys that I worked with over the years started with me at IAB.
Yeah, you worked with some all-stars over there in our industry.
I did, and
Chris Hand, Paul Popolato, yeah.
Yep, they're great friends, and
Chris just recently retired, and Paul's still out there, and some of your other guys you're still dealing with.
Absolutely. They kind of followed me through my path, which is
great.
Which is great.
That says a lot about you.
Well, I hope so.
It does, absolutely does.
So, so once that ship kind of ran its course, and at that point, the next path was business interiors, where I kind of went to them. Probably, like I said, right after my 7th year. They were looking to get into the business.
That was new to them, the epoxy and polishing,
Well-established flooring company in the area, but didn't have the expertise to do the epoxy and polish. So one of my local vendors that I dealt with, Duraflex, reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in talking with them.
Sam Sachs.
Great guy.
Trying to get Sam on the podcast. He lives in Florida.
That's it. He's a very busy man. Smart.
Sam, get up here, please.
But so once I went over there, and the relationship started with Paul Frau Sr., and I was over there, great guy, and look at him as a true friend after all these years in the business.
Awesome, great to hear.
And from 15 years, we started from not knowing what we were doing into this world, and how to migrate into their machine that they are at Business Interiors, and we grew, and became one of the leaders in the Boston area doing this.
Yeah, no, that's what I always heard in the field, that you guys were one of the top guys out there, and most of the GCs were looking at you at every one of those jobs for, in my case, for polished toppings, but you also epoxies and regular polished concrete. So kudos to you.
Yeah, no,
you built that from the ground up.
Yeah, it was, it takes a team. And
Yeah.
again, you're only as good as the team you're working with. And I was very fortunate through all these years to have great people working with me.
And in your busy years, what was like the highest amount of, guys you had in the field?
When we hit our peak, we were probably running about close to 45, 50 guys in the field doing strictly that work.
That's a lot of bodies, yeah.
Yeah, we'd operate probably around anywhere between 7 to 11 jobs on a high season.
Wow.
So it was good.
That's great. And BI just got sold.
They did. After many years in the industry, Paul Farrar Sr. finally decided that it's time to retire, which is well-deserved.
Good for him.
Absolutely. So
I know what that feels like, Paul.
Sure, you've been meeting up some coffees at cocktails down the road.
Exactly,
But yeah, so Paul, like I said, Paul, he deserved his time,
Yep.
and I was happy for him. I truly was. And but through that acquisition, the company was sold over, Capital Flooring, and at that time there was decisions to be made, and weighed all our options. And
I heard you were a free agent there.
I was a pretty popular guy.
Pretty popular guy. I bet you were, because the position you're in, running that division of epoxy and polished toppings, there's only a handful of guys in the city that can do that very well, and you're one of them, and one of the top ones. So I would have thought that, yes, you would have been very popular at that time.
Yeah, it's tough because a lot of people. It's a very unique industry. It's obviously part of the whole flooring industry, but the polished and epoxy is, it's its own animal.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you need to have dedicated people who focus on that work day in and day out. And I think that's what made us different from others, is that we were able to put the attention on that type of work.
Yeah.
And really focus and goal of turning in quality projects and keeping contractors happy.
And I know during the wonderful COVID years, the epoxy floors were very popular because of pharmaceuticals.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were fortunate during the COVID, where most of the country was shut down. We still had a decent amount of guys working, and we were doing a lot of the resinous florins for Moderna, Pfizer, and some of the startup pharmaceutical companies. So Cambridge kept us pretty busy, and we were very fortunate.
That's great. So let's not jump around. Let's go right into Jantile. Tell us about your situation there, what they're developing for you, and what's their look for the future.
Sure. Yeah. So after, like I said, when the company was sold, Business Interiors, a lot of avenues opened, and a lot of options to weigh in, decide how I wanted to proceed. And one came up with Jantile. So Jantile Group originally started in New York. They're a very large outfit, and they have several companies under the Jantile Group in New York City.
Doing all sorts of flooring.
Everything terrazzo, carpet.
They do terrazzo too.
Yep. Stone, carpet, resilient, vinyl, all their different companies. And they're, like I said, one of the largest players in the New York market for commercial flooring. About 10 years ago, they started Jantile Boston, and Jantile Boston is strictly ceramic and stone. And they've been operating for 10 years, and they become one of the largest tile companies union in the city. And they have a great name, great reputation. However, competing in this market, there's always that niche of wanting to be for a general contractor offering all the flooring surfaces.
Bundling, the wonderful bundling, yep.
Exactly. And we kind of, were able to work something out where they wanted to create another division, another entity of the Jantile Group. And we started Jantile Flooring Systems. And I'm actually the president of that company and going to be handling epoxy flooring, polished concrete, and also we're going to be bringing in the carpet, resilient, and wood flooring, which...
Wow, that's new to you.
It is. The last year, so at Business Interiors, I started pricing and working more on the carpet and resilient side with some clients. But obviously, with the size of the scope of work that we did at Business Interiors, my main focus stayed on the epoxy and polished. Sure. And with the polish being as popular as it is, definitely was one of the niche markets that Jantile was looking to get into.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's a perfect marriage, I think, for both of us. It's a great company, great people. I'm excited to get going with it, and it's good to have be able to run the company the way that you feel that you want to run it, and do the things that you think are important to customers.
Are you guys going to look at terrazzo someday?
We don't know.
Yeah. It's a little early in the game right now.
Terrazzo is definitely its own animal, and there's some good companies around that do that. But it's definitely its own niche market.
Yeah, definitely is. Well, good luck with that. I think you'll do fabulous. Because you're a worker. You're a good guy. People like you. You do what you say. You say what you do. So it's actually, it's a good system for you. So good luck.
I appreciate it.
Let's get involved a little bit in your personal life. You're from Wilmington? Live in Wilmington, I should say.
Yep.
But you're originally from Cambridge, Somerville?
Correct. Yeah, I was born in Somerville, and all through my elementary years, went to school in Somerville. We moved just over the line during my high school years, and I went to Cambridge Regional Latin.
Nice.
And grew up with my mom, single mom, grew up with no dad. So we, school and friends were an important part of my life growing up. And then obviously during those years, I met my wife and been married for 27 years.
27, wow.
Glad I got that.
That's a record breaker.
Glad I remembered it.
Yes, glad you did too.
But we have two children. My daughter, she's 23, and my son is 19. Son's a freshman at UConn, and daughter's currently working in the restaurant industry right now. So
nice.
we try to do a lot of things together. Big family guy.
No, that's great. I was going to mention that too. I know you're a big family guy. I'm on social media with you, and I'm envious of the trips you take and the things you do. One of them is you're a big Pats fan. You've been a season ticket holder for many years.
Yeah, 13 years now. So it's been fun. I got in right at the right time, and was able to see all those championships at Gillette with Brady, and love going to the games and bringing the family and friends, and just try to do as much as you can to enjoy life. I mean, you work hard and you get caught up in doing the work and nights, weekends, and everything else that
this business entails.
Yeah, the whole cliche, work hard, party harder, I guess.
Yeah,
to some degree.
Like I said, I know you're a big Pats fan. Spent a lot of time there, which is you have a great group of friends. And also, too, you like Florida. You like to head down there. What area of Florida do you like to go to?
We definitely like both sides of the Gulf, the coast, I should say. Yeah. We do like Clearwater, Gulf area. However, seems I visit more so, on the East Coast side. Lauderdale by the sea, a little Pompano. Hopefully, in a few years down the road, we'll try to get into the market like somebody I know.
Nice. And, yes, come on down.
Be able to
come to the West Coast. I'm in Marco. Yeah.
That's it. So, but that's the goal, is to do that, and hopefully someday, get away from the snow and wonderful weather in New England.
Well, vacation with family is awesome. You need to recharge. You need to spend time with your family. You do a great job with that, and I commend you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, there's another fun fact about you that you used to be, or you still a part-time DJ?
No longer.
No longer. Okay.
No longer. For many years during my college time, I started working for a DJ company, and it was pretty fun. I was doing a lot of college parties at first, and some nightclubs. Worked on Lansdowne Street a little bit.
Nice.
And then I got into this crazy wedding world.
Oh.
And so I started DJing and working for this company, and I was going to places, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, in this industry, you become name recognition. People are calling John and not the company I was working for, asking me, why don't you, how come you never did this on your own? And I was like, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Then I did, and I started going out and getting booked with a lot of the hotels and wedding facilities in New England, and I did it for about 7 years, and it was a pretty fun time in my life.
Weddings are a huge business,
It was one of those recession-proof industries. It's like every year you could guarantee that people are going to get married, and there was always going to be work, and
absolutely,
it was a fun time. The only downfall of it is that it consumes all your weekends.
That's true. It's like working in the restaurant business.
It is. So I missed a lot of personal, events, family parties, which started to weigh on me, especially being something that's important to me is being around, family and friends, especially when we started having kids. That's when I kind of realized that probably going to have to find something else to do.
But also here I see that you were on the cover of New England Bride magazine.
Yeah, one of my claims to fame.
Voted the best wedding DJ in Boston.
Yeah, I was up there with, there was a group of us that were up there, and, I think one year I did 64 weddings in a year.
Wow.
So it was pretty, it's pretty wild time.
Did you use that fun fact when you were applying at Jantile?
No, I don't think they cared too much about that. But it was a great part of my life. It was a lot of fun. I think I always say that, I tell my son and my daughter, and a lot of kids, some of the skills in life that people overlook that I think make you successful is being able to talk to people,
right,
and being outgoing and comfortable. And, too many people are behind phones and emails. And the DJing business definitely gave me that there. When you can go on a weekend and go on a microphone in front of 300 people in a room, or go to a nightclub and, in front of 1,500 people and control a room and, feel that sense of stress on you, but handle it. I think gives you a lot of life lessons that help me succeed in life.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, this business, as well as many businesses, if not all businesses, you're a problem solver. You got to figure out stuff on the fly. You got to figure out stuff when things happen, good, bad, and different. And to be able to talk and communicate is a key component of that. And I must admit, you do that very well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
If I get my kids to do that now, I'd be all set.
Well, we're also going to start a new segment on the Flooring Podcast. I'm calling it Wednesday's Flooring Question. Want to bring a little more flooring into this podcast. And so, John, I'm going to ask you, what is the main difference between epoxy and polished topping versus, let's call it carpet, VCT, LVT?
Good question. A lot of them...
now you're going to be doing both.
Exactly.
So you got to know both.
The biggest thing I would say is that obviously when you're dealing with the carpet, resilient, wood flooring, those are all products that are manufactured and produced ahead of time. They're being delivered to a job site, and it's all up to the installation. So whereas the quality is usually more labor-driven, but the actual products are produced in labs, plants, mills. So it showed up to the site and the finished product's already there. It's our job to install it properly. And that starts with prep and floor prep and making sure that we have a right canvas to work on.
Yeah.
So I think with those three segments of the business, it's produced for us. The epoxy and polish world, it really comes down to expectations. We're creating those floors on site in real time. They weren't produced to us. They come in buckets.
Yeah, you got to mix them, yeah.
Or if we're grinding concrete, we have no idea what concrete looks like.
Yeah.
I always get, when I started doing this with the polished concrete, people would always say to me, oh, you did Microsoft. I want you to come over and we want that in there. And I would tell them, well, the only way we're going to get that is if you can take that concrete slab up
with you,
and bring it. And trying to set the expectations that, especially if it's a renovated area where there was floor prep and mastic or anything from a previous job and they want polish or even epoxy, saying, I don't know what this concrete looks like.
Right.
Until we get equipment on it and prepare it, I can't tell you what it's going to look like.
Until we get there.
So really, setting expectations, I think on the epoxy and polish are far more critical than on the soft goods, I will say. But, and really guiding them through the process, and understanding that, this is going to take time. There's steps involved with the epoxy flooring. We're going into a room and we could be doing a room that's 300 feet or we can do a room that's 3,000 feet. And at the end of one day, we're not going to have anything done, completed. Where on the carpet, resilient wood, an installer can start at one side of the room and at the end of the day, they may have 400 feet done or, and it's finished. Mm-hmm. And they look at it and say, well, how come that's not happening with the epoxy and polish? And it's really making them understand it's a time, labor process. There's steps involved, multiple steps. So with the epoxy, we may be putting a floor down and there may be 5 days of coating before you're going to see a finished result.
A lot of labor.
It is.
Much more labor intensive than the other side. They're
all challenging.
Yeah.
They all have their pros and cons. But I think the other side, like I said, having that quality that's already delivered to you helps.
Yeah.
Again, we have to still make sure that the canvas is right to put the product down, so that that flooring is going to look like the sample that was provided, that the architect picked out.
You could use some Ardex underneath there, right?
We have many times.
That's good.
Many times.
Nice, make it nice and flat and smooth.
Absolutely.
But like you say, you need whatever the canvas is going to look like, your finished floor is going to look like.
It is, and that's probably the most critical in all flooring. Is we always get some of the products that we put down. They're pretty high end commercial grade products, and people always would always say, joking on epoxy, I can go to Home Depot and get that stuff. And I said, well, you can, but you can't prep the floor like.
Yeah, how are you going to get it down?
We're going to do that. So it's pretty critical to really, like I said, guide the client through the process, make sure they understand what they're getting, the time that we're expecting, and don't promise something you can't deliver.
Now, also too, as far as prep machinery, shot blasting, grinding, do you have a preference, or does it depend?
It really depends. I mean, most of the time with coatings, you want to shot blast. You really want to open up the pores of the concrete. So when you put the coatings down, they're actually going to bond into the concrete, so you get that nice tight bite.
Yeah.
However, in the epoxy world, if you have a thinner mill system, something that's a lot, more of just a wear layer, we may want to grind the floor to make it smoother so that the imperfections of the concrete don't show as much.
Yeah.
The thicker systems will cover more, but with the thinner ones, we'll tend to usually grind, or if it's areas we can't get the equipment into, because some buildings, you get small rooms and you just can't maneuver equipment in there.
And power is a big issue all the time too, right?
It is. Yeah, they all run on pretty high voltage. Shot blast equipment is usually 480 volts, and grind is usually 208 or 408. So some buildings don't have that capability as well too. Yeah. So that might limit our options.
And sometimes you're even hand grinding, correct? A small room, or
we've done it,
an area you can't get a machine into.
Absolutely, we've done some basements sometimes that we just no elevator access, and you can't get the equipment down. So
now, also in my history, I've been obviously drilled into my head that dust is a big problem. Dust is your enemy, and grinding is a little dustier than shot blasting.
It depends on the equipment.
Yeah,
I mean,
depends
I think
on the vacuum.
Yeah, I think that really is, part of, being one of the more successful companies in the area, doing this for so long, is that we've stayed up with the equipment and making sure that we have the proper HEPA filtrations, everything that's needed to make sure there's no airborne silica. Obviously, with the safety concerns with a lot of general contractors and OSHA, we have to make sure that we're providing a safe workplace for our guys who are operating this stuff, and it all comes down with the equipment. You don't want to send stuff out there that's questionable or has problems, because the risk, can be pretty severe at times.
Sure.
So we really try to stay on top of making sure that we're buying the right equipment that's going to give us and our installers the best protection and the job site.
Sure.
But the equipment is pretty superior now. It's come along quite a ways. I never tell people when you're grinding or shot blasting that the operation is dustless.
Yeah.
There's no such thing in our world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's pretty well contained.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great information. Getting back to Jantile now. So Jantile doesn't have any equipment for this.
No.
You're going to have to do some shopping?
Yeah, we've already gone out and we've purchased some stuff, and we have some more stuff coming. That's the fun part. But it's like I said, it's always been about relationships, and I've had some extremely good relationships with vendors and people over the years, and a lot of the manufacturers and suppliers for the equipment, I consider from years of working with them good friends.
Yep.
And they're all, we're already in the process, and stuff's coming, and we already have some stuff already in the warehouse, so we're ready to roll. And but yeah, the nice thing about starting a new company is you're starting with brand new equipment, brand new machinery.
Yeah. You're going to learn. All your guys going to break those new pieces of equipment in, and as we know, those the destructive machines that not only destruction to the concrete, but to themselves too.
Absolutely.
You got to get yourself a good mechanic to make sure that keep those bad boys together and running.
Yeah, it's a key element.
Yeah, absolutely. And good luck with this Jantile thing. I think Well, I know it's going to go well for you because, you know, you're a worker, you're a good guy, you got a lot of contacts, a lot of friends in the industry because of, you know, the way you are. And I don't think I've ever heard you yell or raise your voice, which is, you know, kudos to you and do that because it's, you know, some days it's not an easy business, as we all know, you know.
No, definitely
and,
not.
You know, people like to deal with people they like to deal with, and you're definitely one of those guys in the industry. You know?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up on the pod?
No, you know, I just think, like I said, it is good to get out here and talk about the new venture, and you know, excited for that, and excited to be able to continue the relationships with people I've worked through in this industry for the last 22 years, and you know, be able to continue on and doing things, and you know, hopefully have more memories on Facebook and more vacations in the way too.
No, definitely will. Congratulations. Like I said, I knew you were going to be popular out there when this, you know, sale went through, and you know, I'm glad you landed in a place where you're very happy with. Good luck.
I am. Thank you.
All right, we got the final 3 questions coming up.
Oh, here we go.
Another little part of the podcast. Are you ready?
Oh,
you can give me one-word answers, or you can elaborate, whatever you want.
Sure.
What's your favorite food to cook at a Pat's tailgate?
I'd probably have to say that would be probably steak tips.
Steak tips.
Yeah.
Are these your own sauce, or do you buy it?
I usually marinate my own.
Marinate your own.
Yep. I would do the barbecuing, but I can't set up my smoker and everything at a Patriots tailgate party. So if it's a home party, it would definitely be barbecue.
That's right. That's another thing you do. You're a big smoker.
Yeah.
I remember at BI, some of their parties you brought the smoker down like, I don't know, a week beforehand, and you make it run, not a week, but, you know, in the morning, and it runs for all day, right?
Yeah, no, I love competitive barbecuing and cooking and doing all that stuff. Just, you know, unfortunately, with timing, it takes a little bit out of your schedule. And when you light the smoker, you know, you're talking 4 or 5 hours on most times, and it's tough to dedicate that time. So
you said competitive barbecuing, so you competed, yeah?
There was a couple small things that I dabbled with, trying to get into. I mean, never really had the full setup to go out and do it, but I love the cooking shows with the competition stuff, and
that's
a couple
cool.
Small things. So it's a lot of fun. Just you know, time consuming.
Good for you. What's your Dunkin' order?
I'm pretty basic nowadays because I cut a lot of the sugars and stuff back, so it's pretty much a large hot skim milk, 1 equal.
Yeah, I know this. Getting older, trying to lose weight. I used to have Dunkin's was regular for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's 3 sugars and cream.
Exactly.
You know, then I cut out the sugars, then I cut out the cream. Now it's a black coffee.
We're boring now.
which actually I don't mind, but at first it was like, how do people drink this?
I know.
You know, it's terrible, but I don't mind it now. What's your favorite dessert? What used to be your favorite dessert? I know you're not eating any desserts nowadays.
Yeah, I'd probably say my favorite was tiramisu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for one reason, I don't have too much of a sweet tooth, and growing up with my wife's family's Portuguese, and you go to a party and there's, you know, there's 10 times the amount of desserts than there is food, and that's kind of the way their culture's brought up, I guess. But luckily, I've never really got too much of a sweet tooth, but I do like good tiramisu.
That's good. It's good. And I know we didn't mention much about your wife, but she's a teacher in Everett, correct?
She is, yeah.
She's been in the elementary school for many years?
Straight from college, so she's been, she's got, I think, 7 more years, and then she can get her pension and get out of the school system. So
good for her.
Yeah, she's been in Everett her whole career, so she loves it. At least I think she does. But
what's her first name?
Diane.
Diane. We'll give a shout out to Diane. Good luck, Diane, in that soon retirement in 7 years. You know.
Absolutely.
Well, John, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on the pod.
Appreciate it, Mike.
You know, I wanted to. You have a good story, and I wanted people to hear about your new position and getting yourself out there. And if anybody needs to contact you, what's you get the same phone number for the new email?
The same phone number is the same, and email it's jgabaree at Jantile Flooring Systems sys.com.
All right, great. Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
The Flooring Podcast comes out every other week. We will see you in 2 weeks when Mike returns. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, and anywhere else you find your pods. See you next time, and thanks for listening to the Flooring Podcast.